arrangements are also progressing rapidly for the greater good of our shared neighborhood. Your visit today is a very important milestone in our emerging and promising relationship. I would also like to place on record my appreciation to Mr. Sirajuddin Qureshi, President of the India Islamic Cultural Center, for organizing this dialogue today. Excellency, India is an important partner, Indonesia is an important partner in India's extended neighborhood, and our two countries share many complementarities. We have had vast and extended cultural, economic, and spiritual contacts for 1600 years up to the 14th century. These contacts showed us the value of openness, engagement, and respect for diversity. In the 7th century, India's Malabar coast became the meeting point for Arab and Indonesian traders from where they transmitted Islam to Southeast Asia. It is said that Javis from Indonesia had great influence and trade in Calicut. Similarities have also been found in the early Muslim settlements of peninsular India and Indonesia. The Cholas too had extensive trade and cultural contacts between India and Indonesia. Excellency, we are both flourishing democracies in the Indo-Pacific region. The waters that lap the shores of Indonesia also lap our shores. We have historical and cultural linkages and extensive people-to-people ties. Tourism has been an important bridge of cooperation between our two countries. Before the pandemic, 5 lakh Indians visited Bali every year, while the Taj Mahal is a major tourist attraction in India. In Indonesia, people visit Hindu temples like Prambanan, which is a very, very important point for us. This is a shining example of our tolerant and syncretic cultures. We are both home to the world's largest Islamic populations. Indonesia is the world's largest Islamic country, and India is home to the 3rd largest Muslim population. Much like in India, Islam in Indonesia was spread by traders from present-day Kerala and Gujarat and Sufis from Bengal and Kashmir. This peaceful spread led to the development of a syncretic culture where not only pre-Islamic religions flourished side by side, but age-old traditions and local customs greatly influenced religious practices. Today, in this hall, we may speak different languages, but we share a common desire for peace and harmony. Our dialogue today is a vital medium to help us achieve that objective. Excellency, it is crucial that we share and understand the historical and cultural context of Islam in our respective countries, which have peaceful and tolerant underpinnings. It is significant that Islamic theological schools of Deobandism, Barelvism, and Sufism took deep roots in India. Later, these practices and traditions spread to other Islamic nations. Abd al-Rauf al-Sinki in the 17th century is credited to have brought Sufi Kshatriya tradition to Indonesia from India. It is in this context, Excellency, your idea to bring a high-level ulama delegation, the national treasures, to India is apt and extremely important. As you all are aware, both our countries have been victims of terrorism and separatism, while we have overcome the challenges to a considerable extent. The phenomenon of cross-border terrorism and ISIS-inspired terrorism continues to pose a threat. Cooperation of the civil society is essential in countering the threat from ISIS-inspired individual terror cells and returnees from theaters like Syria and Afghanistan. The ulemas play a very important role in Islamic society. The aim of today's discussions is to bring together Indian and Indonesian ulema and scholars who can take forward our cooperation in promoting tolerance, harmony, and peaceful cooperation. This will bolster the fight against violent extremism, terrorism, and radicalization. None of the ends for which extremism, radicalization, and the misuse of religion are employed are justifiable on any ground. This is a distortion of religion against all of us, which all of us also need to raise our voice effectively. Extremism and terrorism is against the very meaning of Islam, because Islam means peace and well-being. Opposition to such forces should not be painted as a confrontation with the enemy religion. Instead, we should focus on the real message of our religions, which stand for the values of humanism, peace, and understanding. Indeed, as the Holy Quran itself preaches, killing one person is like killing all humanity, and saving one is like saving the humanity. Islam ordained that the most excellent form of jihad is jihad afzal, that is jihad against one's senses of ego and not against innocent civilians. We also need to counter disinformation and propaganda that can impede peaceful coexistence among the followers of different faiths. Islam emerged as a rallying point for the disadvantaged and was tolerant in its outlook. After the Prophet's demise, fissures emerged among the caliphs on the question of his legitimate heir. Each faction attempted to outdo the other by espousing a more radical interpretation of the hadiths. It is here that the ulama have a pivotal role to play. They have a leading role in educating the people on the original tolerant and moderate principles of Islam and countering radicalization and extremism with progressive ideas and thought.